Okay, hello everybody. Frankie here. I'm discussing the very damaging hurricane headed towards the Gulf Coast, especially the Louisiana coast. Anywhere from Lafayette to New Orleans could have a lot of problems. This storm is expected to make landfall as a Category 4, possibly a Category 5 hurricane. So you're going to want to pay very close attention if you have any loved ones or anybody, family members over in southern Louisiana. Make sure you call them and contact them. Make sure you let them know a major hurricane's on the way, and it's very, very dangerous. A Category 4 or 5 hurricane possible. So, that being said, I want to take you to some news that will give you further and more detailed information about this hurricane.
Next several hours now starting to develop an eye here at the center of circulation, and what we've been watching over the last several hours, pretty healthy outflows associated with the storm going in all directions here. So that's only going to aid in the intensification process here over the next, we'll say, 24 hours. So here's the 1 o'clock advisory. We're not going to get a new track forecast until 4 o'clock this afternoon, but we get these intermediate updates, and that goes ahead and updates the wind speeds, the location, and the movement. But again, the storm has strengthened. If you remember, 10 o'clock this morning, we had winds of 85 miles per hour. That has now increased to 100 miles per hour. So a pretty moderate Category 2 hurricane here sitting in the central Gulf of Mexico. And again, moving to the northwest at 16 miles per hour. This is the track as of 10 o'clock this morning. We'll get another one coming up at 4, but still brings it onshore in South Louisiana as a Category 4 hurricane. Somewhere, we'll say, on the Terrebonne, St. Mary Parish line here. Center track has it going right over Morgan City. But again, I expect at least subtle changes in this track forecast. We'll see if they kind of nudge it a little bit further to these coming up at 4 o'clock. But nonetheless, maximum sustained winds at 130 miles per hour. That could have some room to at least go a little bit higher than that. We'll have to see how it plays out. But regardless, major hurricane going to be striking the southeastern Louisiana coastline here. We'll say sometime Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, and then the forecast track continues to lift it up into Mississippi as we head into the early parts of next week. So we put the spaghetti plots on the track forecast, and they've been pretty much in a good agreement here, taking the center of circulation across southeastern Louisiana. And yeah, sometimes you'll get stragglers, but a really good agreement here, taking that center of circulation somewhere over southeastern Louisiana going into tomorrow. And if that center track holds, then major hurricane impacts, when you're talking winds in excess, or at least wind gusts in excess of 100 plus miles per hour, that would likely stay a little bit further off to the east of at least the heart of Acadiana, but still Iberia, St. Mary Parish, very much in the thick of things. And most of Acadiana still remains under a hurricane warning here, at least Lafayette on eastward. That means hurricane conditions could be possible in the next 24 hours. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for southwestern Louisiana, but thankfully these areas are going to be spared from this storm, and boy, do they need it after last hurricane season. We'll have to see the hurricane warnings kind of get extended into coastal Mississippi with time, as they could feel some impacts as well. But at least for our impacts here in Acadiana, may have to adjust these numbers a little bit through the course of the afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Rob Brillo is going to be in as well here in just a little bit. So we'll probably tweak these numbers through the course of the afternoon. But here's what we're looking at for Acadiana. Tides are going to be coming up for sure. For now, we'll go 6 to 9 feet across coastal Acadiana and Vermilion Bay on eastward. 4 to 8 inches of rainfall could be possible, with isolated 12 inches or more, especially for eastern parishes of Acadiana. And then there could be some hot spots of 20 plus, especially for southeastern Louisiana, say over towards the Bayou parishes and near NOLA. Winds, gusts could be in excess of 100 miles per hour. That'll be mainly for Iberia and St. Mary parishes. 60 to 90 miles per hour wind gusts could be possible here in central Acadiana. But again, any subtle wobbles in that track in either direction are going to cause these numbers to either increase or decrease. Hopefully they decrease for us. Of course, we don't wish to storm upon anybody, but again, we'll be tweaking these numbers through the course of the afternoon. Power outages could be possible as well, more likely for St. Mary, St. Martin, and Iberia parishes. So stay tuned this afternoon as we update that graphic. Now, why is the hurricane going to continue to strengthen here over the next several hours? Well, it's going to be in a favorable environment for further intensification out here in the central Gulf of Mexico. Low wind shear is going to be in place. Hurricanes don't like winds that are changing direction and speed with height, because that kind of tears apart the upper parts of the storm. So we're going to have a low wind shear in place, and of course also the very warm Gulf of Mexico waters. But notice as the storm continues to track towards Louisiana, highest wind shear is going to be in red and pink. That's going to stay more so off the southeastern Texas coastline. So still a favorable wind shear environment for the storm, and we do think it's going to have Category 4 potential on approach to the coast. And then again, making that run off to the north and east. And we're going to have to see just how far the storm actually, or how quickly the storm is going to turn north, because we have high pressure off to our east. And sometimes, again, the storms have a mind of their own. Kind of mass in motion is going to stay in motion. So we'll see if it kind of tries to trek a little bit further to the west before making that turn off to the north. But bottom line, it will eventually just become a remnant low as it makes its way through Mississippi and Tennessee. Now, on top of low wind shear, what we look for in a strengthening hurricane is water temperatures. Of course, we all know that storms will feed off of very warm water temperatures, and that is what we have in place across the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, water temperatures nearing 90 degrees just along the coastline here. So nothing that's really going to be in the storm's way from intensifying here over the next several hours. Here's the latest GFS model as we track it out, and again, pretty much in line with the hurricane center, taking the center of circulation actually a little bit farther to the east than the official hurricane track, more so into Lafourche Parish, pretty close to the Grand Isle area. So that would be worst case scenario for sure for New Orleans and a good part of southeastern Louisiana. And then it's going to left out of here. It could slow down a little bit as it comes on shore due to some weaker steering currents out there. So that wouldn't be good news when we're talking about rainfall totals. But again, at least for now, highest of those totals likely setting up just off to the east of Acadiana. Now, as far as hurricane wind probabilities, as we take a look at the latest model run here in Lafayette on westward, obviously, it's going to improve dramatically the further west you go, but less than 50% chance for central Acadiana to see hurricane force wind gusts. Obviously, that's going to increase the further east you get into Iberia and St. Mary parishes, where the chances now are going to be 80%, but really, with time going through the rest of today and into tomorrow, those percentages are likely going to go up. And as far as wind gusts, this is the latest HER model here, and it is also a little bit further to the east than the official forecast track, at least for now, but showing strongest winds obviously closer to the center of circulation into southeastern Louisiana. Here in Acadiana, wind gusts 40, 50, 60 miles per hour certainly could be possible, and then stronger, of course, as you get into southeastern Acadiana, and then still going to be a breezy day out towards southwest Louisiana, but not nearly as strong. So that's the good news. And then, of course, big surge is going to be coming in with this storm. We're talking 10 to 15 feet of surge along coastal Terrebonne Parish, Lafourche, and then as you get over towards southeastern Louisiana, 4 to 7 feet there in Lake Pontchartrain, 3 to 5 feet in Lake Maurepas, and then here across Acadiana, anywhere from around 3 to 9 feet could be possible. And we're going to have to watch as the storm lifts to the north, say across the Florida parishes here, Louisiana. Tides could actually come up as you get that southwesterly flow, and then we're talking 2 to 4 feet as you get just off the coast of Cameron Parish there. Let's see what we have. The next graphic, we're going to get into rainfall totals. This is the European model, which has had at least a slight westward bias over the last several days, but pretty much in line with the Hurricane Center. Highest rainfall totals, again, just off to our east, but near Morgan City, near a foot of rain could be possible, and then that continues up towards Baton Rouge if the center of circulation passes just west here. Here in Acadiana, per the European model, showing anywhere from 4 to 8 plus inches of rain could be possible, and that drops off dramatically the further west you get. We compare that with the GFS model, and again, showing heaviest of the precipitation totals well off to the east of Acadiana, but again, not the best situation if you're near the NOLA area, Florida parishes of Louisiana, and then considerably lower the further west you get. So GFS model is definitely more favorable for us here in Acadiana, only showing around 1 inch or 2 inches here in Lafayette, and then a little bit higher there across southeastern Acadiana, and then dramatically lower the further west you get into southwestern Louisiana. So here's kind of comparing the models and what we've been looking at over the last several days. This is how the Hurricane Center goes ahead and puts out their track forecast, not necessarily looking at any one particular computer model, but kind of taking all of them together and then basing their forecast off of that. NAM model, which has a little bit of a westward bias, going back, I believe it was Thursday, it had the center of circulation coming onshore near the Texas-Louisiana state line, now coming in right around the Morgan City area. There's the eye wall. Worst of the weather into southeastern Louisiana, into, say, Terrebonne, Lafourche parishes, and then continues to lift the storm northward. Direct hit there into Baton Rouge. Still some squally weather here in Lafayette and portions of Acadiana. But again, worse impacts just off to our east. And then the storm continues to lift out of here as we head into Monday. Taking a look at the graph model, which performed pretty well going back to last hurricane season, and consistently since Thursday has been showing a pretty similar track here, with landfall close to the mouth of the Mississippi River. Looks like the latest model runs actually just west of the area, just west of the mouth of the Mississippi River, coming on shore near Grand Isle, southern Lafourche Parish, and then continue to moving right through the spine of Lafourche Parish there. This would be the worst case scenario for, say, New Orleans. And again, storm could actually weaken a little bit. It's going to weaken, obviously, when it comes on shore thanks to land interaction, but it could slow down a little bit as those steering currents become weak, and that's going to start to pile up the rainfall for sure, especially for portions of southeastern Louisiana. And then, yeah, we get clipped here in Lafayette, but worse of the weather just off to our east, across the basin into Baton Rouge, and again into southeastern Louisiana. And then the storm begins to lift out of here. European model, again, has it coming in just a little bit farther to the west as compared to some of the other models near the Terrebonne St. Mary Parish line there, and then continues to lift northward. This would be a little bit worse for us as it would come closer to central Acadiana before lifting out of here. So we'll see how those models continue to trend over the next several hours. We are going to start to look at more of the short-term models as well. So high resolution rapid refresh model, which we use on a day-to-day basis, that's now getting us in the time frame to where we can use that model as well, and that has actually begun to shift a little bit to the west a little bit to the east as well. So we'll see if that continues to trend in that manner. And of course, we did have Tropical Depression 10. Just want to get everybody updated on that as well. Formed today as well, but that is going to remain out in the open Atlantic. Next name on the list would be Julian, but thankfully that is going to be no threat to land. So real quick, just to kind of wrap this up, this is the very latest information on Hurricane Ida. As of the 1 o'clock advisory, we're going to get a new track forecast coming up at 4 p.m. this afternoon, but this is the intermediate advisory. It gives us an update on the winds, location, movement, etc. Now a Category 2 hurricane, winds of 100 miles per hour, and it will continue to strengthen here. All of this expected, again, reasons we talked about going back to really the last couple of days, and we continue to talk about. Gulf of Mexico, very favorable for development, so this could reach Category 4 intensity before landfall in southeastern Louisiana sometime tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. Right now, peak winds at 130 miles per hour. We'll see if there's any chance that could go a little bit higher. We know storms can often have a mind of their own, and then it'll continue to move inland, perhaps right over Baton Rouge or just west of the Baton Rouge area there early Monday morning. And at least with this center track, worst of the impacts, or at least the major hurricane impacts, would stay just east of Acadiana, or at least most of Acadiana, with the exception being, of course, Iberia and St. Mary parishes. Of course, I'll be here through the course of the afternoon and evening. Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo will be in shortly as well, so we'll be keeping you updated on the very latest information. And I will leave you with an just an update on our app. I'll get with Dave here really quickly. There we go. There's our KATC scan code there. So if you want to grab your phones and take a picture of that, that'll get you directly to our KATC weather app and have all the information that you need to get there. So for now, for this 1 p.m. update, this is meteorologist Bradley Benoit, and we'll have more for you through the course of the afternoon. Next cut-in will be at 4 p.m. And of course, we'll have our newscast tonight at 6 p.m. and more than likely a Facebook Live sometime shortly after that. So until then, for now, in the Weather Lab, I'm meteorologist Bradley Benoit. You have a great afternoon.